I woke up when I woke up. I could no longer feel my chest at all. The only thing in my ears was a piercing alarm. Asterisk vital signs declining. Asterisk estimated time until death. No more than 10 minutes. Asterisk a cold, mechanical voice echoed overhead. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but a blur of white light. I tried to move my fingers, but my whole body felt as if thousands of steel needles were piercing through it. My name is Qin Yi. 3 months ago, I was an ordinary person, someone who struggled every day to make ends meet, earned a meager salary, and lived in a rented room. But now I lay on an unfamiliar metal table, waiting to die. All of this stemmed from a mission I should never have touched. Qin Yi, are you sure you want to continue? The man standing beside me pushed up his glasses, his expression grave. His name was Bai Zhe, the lead researcher on this relic expedition, and the man who had brought me here. I looked at him, my voice hoarse. Professor Bai, do I have a choice? Bai Zhe fell silent, because he knew the answer. No. 3 days ago, we entered an underground ruin known as the Dragon Tomb. It was a place that even modern technology could not explain. There were no traces of artificial construction, yet it contained energy fluctuations far beyond human understanding. Everyone in the expedition believed that something lay buried there, something capable of changing the world. But they didn't know what it truly held. A race that everyone had forgotten, the dragon race. After we entered, the team was attacked by an unknown force. More than a dozen elite members lost their ability to move in an instant. Only I, because I accidentally touched a black crystal, was chosen. That crystal entered my body, and with it came a message. The dragon contract. Accept, or die. There was no third option. Bai Zhe had once told me that the success rate for accepting the contract was less than 1%. Those who failed would have their bodies collapse within minutes. At the time, I laughed. 1%? What difference does that make from certain death? Bai Zhe had looked at me and said something that stuck. The difference is that some people die here, and some become the ones who change the world. Now, I lay here, with only minutes left to live, but I didn't regret it, because just moments ago, I heard a voice, a woman's voice, cold, yet carrying boundless majesty. Asterisk human? Asterisk do you want to live? Asterisk I opened my eyes. Before me appeared a phantom figure. She stood in the darkness, her face unclear. Yet even as a mere shadow, she exuded an overwhelming pressure that I could not resist. My body trembled instinctively. It was fear born from a difference in life itself. She was not an ordinary existence. She seemed like a creature standing at the apex of the world. Who are you? I asked. The woman did not answer immediately. Instead, she said calmly, if you form a contract with me, you will gain power, but you will also become an enemy of the dragon race. Countless strong ones will hunt you. Everything you have may be destroyed because of it. I gave a bitter smile. I can't even live for 10 more minutes. What could be worse than death? The woman paused for a moment. Then, for the first time, she looked at me directly. You are different from those other humans. When they see power, they only want to possess it. When you see death, you still think about living. I didn't respond, because I knew very well. I wanted to live, not because I was afraid of death, but because I still had so many things left unfinished. I had a promise yet to keep. There was someone still waiting for my answer. 3 years ago, my father had left me a final message. Asterisk Qin Yi. This world is far bigger than you know. If one day you encounter power you cannot understand, do not run, because that might be your destiny. Asterisk I hadn't understood then. Now I finally did. What he spoke of might have been this very moment. Sign the contract. I stared at the woman. I choose you. The moment the words left my mouth, the entire space trembled. Surprise flickered in the woman's eyes. Do you know what you are choosing? Yes. I am the last dragon empress of the dragon race. Yes. I have slept for 10,000 years and once destroyed countless enemies. Yes. You might become a target for the entire world because of me. I smiled. I was about to die anyway. At least let me die with some meaning. The next second, a golden light pierced through my body. Agonizing pain flooded my entire being. It felt as if every bone was being shattered and rebuilt. My blood began to boil. My heart pounded wildly. Voices echoed in my ears. Asterisk contract initiated. Asterisk bloodline merging. Asterisk dragon heritage unlocking. Asterisk I clenched my teeth and refused to scream, because I knew that if I failed now, I would die. If I succeeded, My life would change forever. I didn't know how long passed. Then, suddenly, the pain vanished. In its place was a sense of strength I had never known before. I slowly opened my eyes. The once blurry world was now crystal clear. I could hear machines running dozens of meters away. I could sense the subtle flow of energy in the air. I could even see the pattern on my arm, a golden dragon mark. Baizé stared. Frozen. It worked? His voice trembled. I sat up. The wounds on my body were healing rapidly. It seems. I clenched my fist. It worked. Baizé stepped closer. His gaze complicated. Qin Yi, do you know what this means? I looked at him. That I don't have to die? No. Baizé shook his head. It means that from today onward, you are no longer an ordinary person. Just then, a deafening roar came from deep within the ruins. The entire base shook violently. Alarms blared again. Unknown life form detected. Threat level, maximum. Baizé's face instantly turned pale. Impossible. I looked into the darkness. From there came a low, grinding voice. The Dragon Empress's aura has reappeared. Who awakened her? Then, a colossal dark shape slowly emerged from the depths. Each step it took cracked the ground. Baizé stepped back. Qin Yi, you just gained your power. Don't act rashly now. That thing is not something you can handle. I stared at the monster. If this were 10 minutes ago, I might have chosen to run. But now, something else flowed through my veins, a power that, for the first time, made me feel I could grasp my own fate. I stood up. Professor Bai, the old me couldn't beat it. But now, I raised my hand. Golden flames burned in my palm. It should get to know me again. The dark figure stopped. It stared at me, then let out a low laugh. Human, you think inheriting the Dragon Empress's power makes you the master of dragons? You have no idea what you have awakened. I didn't answer, because at that moment, Yen Li's voice appeared in my mind, the Dragon Empress who had slept for 10 millennia. Finally responding to me in earnest. Qin Yi, from now on, you will walk a path with no turning back. Are you willing to bear it? I looked at the monster ahead, clenched my fist, and said, I chose you. I won't regret it. The next second, the dragon mark exploded with light, and the entire ruin was bathed in golden radiance. And I didn't know that, from this moment on, an ordinary man once ignored by everyone was beginning his ascent to heights the whole world could not stop. The dark figure stopped less than 10 meters away. Its body remained hidden in shadow, only a pair of scarlet eyes visible. Those eyes fixed on me like a predator sizing up a newborn prey. Interesting. A human who actually endured the Dragon Empress's contract. Its voice was low and grating, as if rising from underground. I clenched my fists, power surging inside me. The strength I had just acquired was immense, so immense that it felt like I was in a completely new body. But I also knew that this power did not truly belong to me. Not yet, at least. I was only a newcomer to this world, and I couldn't afford to let my guard down against this unknown being. Who are you? I demanded. The shadow stepped forward. When it fully entered the light, I saw that it had a humanoid form covered in black scales. Its hands were sharp as blades, and 2 curved horns grew from its forehead. At the sight of it, Baizé's face went ashen. Black-scaled demon dragon, he murmured. How is that possible? I turned to him. You know it? Baizé swallowed. A legendary traitor of the ancient dragon race. They devoured their kin's bloodlines for power and were later sealed away by the dragons. His voice dropped lower. Such a being should never have appeared here. The black-scaled demon dragon sneered. Humans, you always know only the surface. A seal? That is merely history written by the victors of the dragon race. The true losers are the ones called evil. I ignored its rhetoric, because I noticed something else. It had said the Dragon Empress had reappeared, which meant it knew Yen Li. Do you know her? I asked. The black-scaled demon dragon gazed at me. Her? That lofty Dragon Empress? Of course I do. It was she who personally sealed me back then. I frowned. In my mind, Yen Li's voice came. Qin Yi. Do not believe it. Her tone remained calm, but I could sense a shift in her emotions. It is dangerous. What grudge do you have with it? I asked. After a moment's silence, she said, I will tell you later. For now, you need to survive. My heart sank. Even Yen Li called it dangerous. This creature was definitely not something I could easily handle. Suddenly, The black-scaled demon dragon charged at me. So fast it was almost invisible. In the next instant, a scaly hand was right in front of my face. I instinctively raised my arm to block. Asterisk boom! Asterisk the impact sent me flying into the metal wall behind me. The wall caved in. Pain tore through my body, and I spat out blood. The black-scaled demon dragon looked at me. Weak. You inherited the Dragon Empress's power. Yet this is all you have. It seemed she is so depleted she could not choose a better vessel. At those words, my expression changed, not because of the pain, but because it had insulted Yen Li. I had known her only briefly. I didn't truly understand her, but she had given me power and a chance to live when I was dying. That debt I would not forget. I slowly stood up, wiped the blood from my lips, and said, "Have you said enough?" The creature paused. "What?" I stared at it. "You can call me weak. You can say I'm no match for you, but you have no right to judge her." The black-scaled demon dragon's eyes turned icy. A human dares to defend the Dragon Empress? It seems she has chosen an amusing puppet. The word puppet hit me like a spark. The dragon mark on my arm erupted in golden flames that spread over my arm. Yen Li's voice echoed. Asterisk Qin Yi. Do not let anger control you. Your power is still unstable. Asterisk I gritted my teeth. I know. But some things I won't listen to. The next second, I charged forward, several times faster than before. The black-scaled demon dragon was clearly surprised. It raised its arm to block. Our powers collided. This time, it did not send me flying. Instead, it stepped back one pace. It looked down at its hand, where a faint wound had appeared. Dragon flame? For the first time, it showed a serious expression. You can actually use her origin power. I didn't answer. I pressed the attack. I knew my greatest advantage now was not raw strength but the fact that my opponent didn't know me. I had just gained my abilities. I didn't know many techniques. But the black-scaled demon dragon likewise had not expected an ordinary human to fight this way. I kept searching for its weaknesses: strike, dodge, counter. Each time I was injured, I felt my body recover rapidly. That was the regeneration brought by dragon blood. The fight dragged on for minutes. The black-scaled demon dragon finally lost patience. Enough. Its body began to swell. Black energy gathering wildly. The entire ruin shook. Bai Zai's face turned pale. Qin Yi. Get away! You can't block that strike. I looked at the power gathering before me. It was indeed overwhelming, so strong that it made me feel death approaching again. If I were still the old me, I would have fled. But now, behind me stood Bai Zai and all the others waiting for rescue in the ruins. I could not retreat. Yen Li, I said quietly, lend me your strength. A brief silence. Then she answered. Are you sure? After this blow, you may suffer dragon blood backlash. I looked ahead. I'm sure. The next instant, a golden phantom appeared behind me, a colossal divine dragon. All the air seemed to freeze. The black-scaled demon dragon stopped mid-motion for the first time. Impossible. She actually gave you her origin recognition? Yen Li's voice resounded through the ruin. Asterisk Hey Jean, 10,000 years have passed, and you have not changed. Asterisk the black-scaled demon dragon shuddered. Yen Li, for the first time, fear showed in its eyes. I stood beneath the golden dragon's shadow and finally understood that Yen Li's true power was far more terrifying than I had imagined. But then her voice came again. Asterisk Qin Yi, for now, you can only borrow my power. If you truly want to protect yourself, you must find your own path. Asterisk I clenched my fist. I understand. Hey Jean stared at me and suddenly laughed. Interesting. A human chosen by the Dragon Empress. Then let me see how far you can grow. With that, its body began to dissipate. I froze. It fled? Bai Zai shook his head. No, it only left for now. Qin Yi, what you awakened wasn't just the Dragon Empress. You also roused those who have been hiding in the shadows all along. I looked into the distance. For the first time, I felt the true face of this world unfolding before me, and Yen Li's 10,000-year secret was about to surface. I just didn't know whether the next step would bring opportunity, or a greater trap of death. For the first time, I truly realized I had stepped into an entirely unfamiliar world. Before, my world consisted of companies, cities, and ordinary life, rent, work, stability. But now, dragon blood flowed in my veins, and a dragon empress who had slept for 10 millennia lived in my consciousness. And that being called Hey Jean, just by appearing briefly, had nearly killed me. Worse, it had left without any panic, as if it had never regarded me as a real enemy. Qin Yi, Baize came to my side, his tone graver than before. You have to leave here. Why? I asked. Baize glanced into the depths of the ruin. Because this place is already exposed. He Jin knows the Dragon Empress has awakened. Other beings will learn of it too. Before, you were just an ordinary person, no one paid attention. Now, you are the Dragon Empress's contractor. Every power will want to seize or destroy you. I looked down at the dragon mark on my hand and knew he was right. Yet one question remained. Why did Yenli choose me? Baize was silent for a long while before answering. I'm afraid only she knows that answer. I closed my eyes and sank my consciousness into a spiritual space, a golden world. Yenli stood at its center, still wearing her red robe, her long hair flowing. But this time, she was no longer as ethereal as when we first met. Her figure was clearer. You have questions for me? She asked. I nodded. Why me? Yenli did not answer right away. She walked up to me and studied my face carefully. Do you truly want to know? Yes. Once you know the answer, you may change your view of me. I frowned. What do you mean? Yenli turned away. 10,000 years ago, the dragon race and humans went to war. That war lasted a long time. Countless lives perished. In the end, the dragons chose to hide. I listened without interrupting. And I, as Dragon Empress, once made a decision that changed the fate of everyone. What decision? I asked. She didn't answer. She only said, now is not the time. I felt helpless. Do all you powerful beings like to speak in half-truths? Yenli looked at me, a faint trace of amusement in her eyes. You are bold. In 10,000 years, few have dared speak to me like that. I shrugged. Maybe it's because I don't know how strong you once were. If I did, I might have used a different tone. She regarded me and suddenly asked, Qin Yi, have you ever thought about what would have happened if you hadn't met me today? That question made me pause. Without Yenli, I would have died in the ruins. No future. No choices. Not even the chance to know the world's true secrets. So, Yenli continued, you owe me nothing. The contract is not charity. What you give me is equally important. I was taken aback. What I give you? Yes. She looked at me. Dragons have long lives. But longevity does not mean freedom from loneliness. For 10,000 years, I have met countless people who sought power, who wanted to become dragon riders, to obtain dragon strength. Yet not one of them was willing to stand by my side after learning the cost. I said nothing, because for the first time, I sensed that Yenli was not just a legendary dragon empress. She was someone who had lived a very long time, always carrying everything alone. Just then, the spiritual space shook. Yenli's expression changed. Someone is coming. I immediately withdrew my consciousness and opened my eyes. Several figures appeared at the entrance of the ruin. The leader was a man in a black combat suit, around 30 years old, with sharp eyes and a powerful aura. Baize's expression shifted when he saw him. Shenhan Chuan. The man walked over, his gaze falling on me. You are Qin Yi? I didn't answer. I observed him. Baize whispered. He's from the Guardian Alliance. Very strong. Shenhan Chuan heard and said calmly, no need for introductions. I came to confirm one thing. His eyes landed on my arm. When he saw the dragon mark, his expression changed noticeably. The Dragon Empress really did choose you. Silence fell. What do you want? I asked. Shenhan Chuan did not answer directly. Instead, he said, hand over the Dragon Empress's contract. I laughed. What if I don't? He looked at me. Then I'll have to take you back. So the Alliance can study the power inside you. My eyes turned cold. Study? What do you mean? Shenhan Chuan replied flatly. Exactly that. The power you now possess concerns the security of the entire world. We cannot let an uncontrollable person keep it. So, I said slowly, you want to make me a lab rat? He did not deny it. If necessary. Yes. In that moment, I finally understood that the real danger did not come only from enemies like He Jin, but also from those who acted in the name of protection. I looked at Shenhan Chuan. I can understand your concern for the world, but no one has the right to decide my life. Shenhan Chuan frowned. Qin Yi, you have just gained power. You don't know what you are up against. Do you think you can resist everyone with the Dragon Empress's strength alone? I raised my hand, golden flames flickering. At least I can choose to resist. Shenhan Chuan stared at me. After a long moment, he suddenly withdrew his aura. Interesting. I thought the Dragon Empress had chosen someone controlled by power, but it seemed she chose someone with a will of his own. I remained wary. What do you mean? Shinhan Chuan turned away. I didn't come to capture you. That was only a test. The ones who truly want to catch you are already on their way. Bai Zei's face changed. What? Shinhan Chuan looked toward the exit. After He Jin appeared, every hidden faction will move. They won't give Qin Yi time to grow. He looked back at me. If you want to survive, you have to become strong enough that they can't kill you easily. I clenched my fist. I knew he was right. From the moment I chose Yanli, there was no turning back. Ordinary life was already far behind me. The real battle had only just begun. After Shinhan Chuan left, the ruins remained quiet for a long time, but I knew real danger was approaching. Bai Zei stood beside me in silence until he confirmed no unusual fluctuations nearby. Then spoke. Qin Yi, what you did was impulsive. I looked at him. You think I should have gone with them? Bai Zei shook his head. I don't know. In that situation, anyone would find it hard to make the right choice. He met my eyes. But you must understand one thing. From the moment you became the Dragon Empress's contractor, you are no longer bound by ordinary rules. I nodded. I had already felt that. Before, my problems were about money, work, relationships. Now, life and death, and the world's deepest secrets. What now? I asked. Bai Zei paused. Go to the dragon relic. I blinked. But that's already been discovered. This ruin was discovered by humans, he said. The real core of the dragon race has not yet been opened. Only the Dragon Empress's contractor can enter. I looked at my arm. The golden mark was still there. Does Yanli know? Her voice sounded in my mind. Asterisk I know. Asterisk I closed my eyes and entered the spiritual space. Yanli stood there. But she looked weaker than before. I frowned. Are you hurt? She shook her head. Not hurt. Energy depleted. I consumed part of my origin power to help you block He Jin. My heart sank. Why didn't you tell me? She looked at me. If I told you, what would you have done? I had no answer. Because I knew I would have felt guilty. Felt I was dragging her down. She said softly, Qin Yi, remember, we are in a contract. It's not about one protecting the other. Your growth also helps me recover. Really? I asked. Really. True dragon contracts are never one-sided. True contracts mean mutual growth. Relieved, I withdrew from the spiritual space and told Bai Zei, take me to the dragon relic. He studied me for a few seconds. Are you sure? Sure. It may be more dangerous than here. I know. You may encounter beings stronger than He Jin. I know. Bai Zei sighed. Your temperament is a lot like your father's. That caught me off guard. You knew my father? Bai Zei did not answer at once. His expression grew complicated. Yes. And he was involved in the dragon relic matter back then. I stared at him. Why was I never told? He paused. Because your father didn't want you involved. He said that if possible, he wanted you to live an ordinary life. I clenched my fists. But in the end, he pulled me into this. Bai Zei shook his head. No, Qin Yi. It wasn't him who pulled you in. Some things were destined from the moment you were born. I didn't press further. I knew Bai Zei was still hiding many things. But now was not the time to dig into the past. Hours later, we left the ruin and headed for the true dragon entrance. Along the way, I kept adapting to the power in my body. I discovered that dragon blood gave me more than a strong body. It also gave me a special perception. I could sense energy shifts and even detect danger beforehand. Bai Zei told me this was the dragon race's most basic ability. Basic? I was exasperated. This kind of ability would drive people crazy in the human world. Bai Zei smiled. Now you see the gap between humans and dragons. He looked out the window. But Qin Yi, you also have one advantage. What? You are human. I didn't understand. That's an advantage? Yes. Dragons have long lives. They are powerful but rarely change. Humans have short lives. So we keep progressing. Your body holds both dragon power and human potential. That is also why Yanli chose you. I fell silent, contemplating for the first time why I had been chosen. Before, I thought it was luck, but now it seemed far more complicated. That night, the vehicle stopped in a desolate mountain area. Bai Zei led me to a cliff face that looked ordinary, nothing special. But when I approached, the dragon mark on my hand grew warm. The next moment, the rock face cracked open. revealing an ancient stone door covered in complex patterns. I reached out and touched it. A flood of information poured into my mind: dragon history, bloodline inheritance, and a hidden past. I saw war, countless dragons falling, the sky swallowed by darkness, and at the forefront stood a woman, Yen Li. She held a long sword, facing countless enemies alone. At the end of the vision, she looked back, as if waiting for someone. I snapped awake, heart racing. Yen Li's voice came. You saw it? Yes. That is not all. A part of that memory is sealed. Why? A pause. Because it contains a secret about you. I froze. A secret about me? Before I could ask more, the stone doors shook violently. Voices came from outside. Qin Yi, you finally opened the entrance. I turned. A group of people stood in the distance. At their head was a man with a smile that held no warmth. Yi Ming, the Dragon Empress's contractor. You are growing faster than I expected. Bai Zai's face went pale. Yi Ming, how did you get here? Yi Ming looked at me. Because I need to thank you. Thank you for doing something for me. I frowned. What? Yi Ming stared at the open stone door and said slowly, opening the dragon race's final treasury. My heart dropped. From the very beginning, this had all been a setup, and I had just opened the very thing my enemy most wanted. Yi Ming stood before the stone door, and in that instant, I understood everything. From the moment I entered the dragon tomb, I thought I was searching for power, but someone else had wanted me to find this place even more, because only I could open this door. Who are you really? I stared at Yi Ming, the dragon mark on my hand already heating, not from excitement, but from warning. Yen Li's voice sounded in my mind. Qin Yi, be careful. This man is more dangerous than He Jin. My heart sank. Even Yen Li said that. Yi Ming's strength was far beyond what I had imagined. Yi Ming smiled. It seems the Dragon Empress has already told you some things. Too bad she hasn't told you everything. I ignored his provocation. What do you want from here? Yi Ming gazed at the ancient stone door, a hint of fanaticism finally appearing in his eyes. Power. The true power of the dragon race. Bai Zai stood beside me, his face grim. Yi Ming, you've lost your mind. Do you know what opening the dragon treasury means? Yi Ming turned to him. Of course. It means this world will have a new master. He raised his hand, and the men behind him stepped forward. Their auras made me instantly alert. Each of them was no ordinary person. The weakest was far stronger than the combat personnel from the earlier ruin. I clenched my fists. I might have dragon power, but I hadn't truly mastered it. Facing so many at once, my odds were low. Bai Zai whispered. Qin Yi, I'll hold them off. You take Yen Li into the treasury. I looked at him. What about you? Bai Zai smiled. I'm old, but not so old that I can only watch the young walk to their deaths. I frowned. Professor Bai, do you know what you're facing? I do. That's exactly why I won't let you face it alone. Those words struck me. Ever since I gained power, everyone had told me I had to get stronger, carry the burden, face the trials. But this was the first time someone stood beside me and said I didn't have to do it alone. Then Yi Ming raised his hand. Attack. The next second, battle erupted. Several figures shot forward. Bai Zai drew an ancient short blade and met the first attacker head-on. His movements were not those of an old man, each strike precise. Clearly, he had been hiding his true strength. I did not linger. I charged straight for the stone door, because I knew this was not where we should fight. Yi Ming's real target was the treasury. Trying to get in? Yi Ming blocked my path. Qin Yi, do you know why the Dragon Empress chose you? I stopped. You know? He smiled. Because of what's inside you. My pupils contracted. What do you mean? Your blood, he said. Your father took something from the dragon race back then. That thing has been hidden inside you all along. My mind reeled. Father again. Why did every secret lead back to him? How much did you know about my father? Yi Ming didn't answer. Instead, he attacked. Black energy exploded forth. I raised my arms to block. Boom. The force sent me staggering back several steps. After just one exchange, my arms went numb. The gap was too wide. Yi Ming looked at me. Right now, you are too weak. If not for the Dragon Empress, you wouldn't even qualify to stand before me. That stung, not because he called me weak, but because he was right. I wasn't strong enough yet. Gaining power did not mean mastering it. A true strong one wasn't someone who wielded a weapon but someone who could control it. I took a deep breath and stopped trying to overpower him. Instead, I observed. Yiming's strength was formidable, but his attacks had one trait: a brief pause before each release, less than an instant, but enough. I dodged to the side and threw a punch at his shoulder. For the first time, Yiming stepped back. His eyes changed. "You're studying my attacks?" I didn't answer and charged again. In that moment, I finally understood. Dragon power only gave me a starting point. Victory would come from my judgment, my will. Yiming kept attacking, and I kept dodging, though wounds piled up. I also kept adapting, speed, strength, reaction, all rising. Yen Li's voice came. Qin Yi, you are beginning to awaken your own ability. What do you mean? Dragon blood does not create a strong person directly. It only unlocks your potential. The power truly yours must be found by you. Hearing that, I suddenly understood. I had been relying on Yen Li, on dragon strength. But from now on, I had to walk my own path. I charged at Yiming again, this time without borrowing Yen Li's power, only using my own body. My fist landed, and Yiming was pushed back. His expression finally changed. You're starting to control the bloodline? I didn't stop. I pressed on because this was my chance. Just as the fight reached a stalemate, the stone door behind us opened on its own. An ancient voice emerged. Dragon heritage unlocked. Everyone stopped. Yiming's eyes blazed with excitement. Finally, years of waiting, finally open. He ignored me and rushed toward the treasury. I immediately gave chase. But the moment I entered, what I saw made me freeze. Inside, there was no treasure, no mountain of artifacts, only a floating crystal. Inside the crystal, a single drop of golden blood was sealed. Yen Li's voice became urgent. Qin Yi, don't let Yiming take it. What is it? I asked. She paused, then said, Dragon King's blood. My heart shook. Dragon King? I thought there was only the Dragon Empress. Yen Li did not answer. Yiming had already reached out to touch the crystal. His face was full of madness. 10,000 years of waiting, finally mine. But the moment his hand touched the blood, the whole treasury began to collapse. A terrifying aura erupted from the crystal. Yiming's smile froze, because the Dragon King's blood had not chosen him. It flew toward me. Golden light poured into my body. My consciousness plunged into darkness. The last thing I heard was Yen Li's voice. Qin Yi, from now on, your true trial has only just begun. I didn't know how long I was unconscious. When I opened my eyes again, the first thing I felt was pain, not ordinary pain, but as if every fiber of my being was being reshaped. My bones were crushed and recombined. My blood felt like burning magma racing through my veins. I tried to move, but couldn't even lift a finger. Qin Yi, a familiar voice. I forced my eyes open and saw Yen Li in my consciousness space. She was even weaker than before, her face pale. What happened? I asked. Yen Li looked at me. You absorbed the Dragon King's blood. I was stunned. Shouldn't that belong to the dragon race? Yes, but it chose you. I fell silent. From the beginning, I had thought I was just lucky, chosen by the Empress, given dragon power. But now even the Dragon King's blood had voluntarily entered me. This no longer felt like luck. It felt like fate arranged long ago. Why? I looked at Yen Li. Why did it choose me? She didn't answer at once. She turned and gazed into the golden space. Because your body holds something the dragon race lost. I frowned. Again with my father? She did not deny it. Your father, Qin Chuan, was not an ordinary person back then. Hearing that name, my heart clenched. My father had passed away years ago. All these years, I had believed he was just an ordinary researcher, even though he often disappeared when I was a child. Even though he always warned me to stay away from things I couldn't understand. I had never imagined he was connected to the dragon race. What exactly did he do? I asked. Yen Li was silent for a long moment. He once saved the dragon race. Because of that, he obtained a power that should not have belonged to a human. That power later entered your body. I clenched my fists. So from the start, I was already caught up in this. No. Yen Li looked at me. You weren't caught up, you inherited his choice. I said nothing. I suddenly recalled the last words my father said to me. Some power is not meant for you to stand above others. It is meant to give you the right to protect those you care about when disaster comes. I hadn't understood then. Now, I finally did. Suddenly, the spiritual space shook. Yen Li's face changed. Someone is attacking this place. I came to instantly. Opening my eyes, I found myself lying in the center of the treasury, surrounded by rubble. Baizé sat not far away, with wounds on his body but still alive. Seeing me wake, he exhaled in relief. You're finally awake. I sat up. The power inside me was stabilizing rapidly. Where is Yiming? Baizé's expression darkened. He ran. He didn't get the Dragon King's blood, but he took something else. What? He looked toward the depths of the treasury. The dragon black seal. My heart sank. Yenli's voice came. Trouble. What is that? The key to unlocking an ancient seal. My expression changed. He wants to release something? Yenli did not answer. But her silence said enough. It was nothing good. Baizé stood up. We have to leave. This place isn't safe anymore. I nodded, but just as we prepared to go, a voice came from outside. Qin Yi, you're awake. I turned and saw Shen Hanchuan standing at the entrance. Several people behind him. I immediately went on guard. Are you here to take me back again? Shen Hanchuan shook his head. If I wanted to capture you, I would have done it while you were unconscious. I didn't relax. Then why are you here? He looked at me. There's a problem inside the Alliance. Yiming's people have infiltrated it. Baizé frowned. Are you sure? Shen Hanchuan nodded. Someone deliberately concealed dragon intelligence, and even helped Yiming search for ruins. I stared at him. So now you believe me? He paused. I admit I underestimated you before. I thought you were just an ordinary person who gained power. But when the Dragon King's blood chose you, I understood something. You aren't just a user of power. You may be the one who changes the situation. I didn't feel flattered by those words. I felt more wary. Such praise usually came with greater responsibility. What do you want me to do? Shen Hanchuan said. Join the Guardian Alliance. I refused outright. No. He blinked. Why? I met his eyes. Because I don't want to be anyone's tool, either dragon nor human. My power is mine to decide how to use. Shen Hanchuan looked at me for a long moment, then laughed. Good. Now I understand why Yenli chose you. I frowned. What do you mean? He said. True powerful beings never submit to power, they command it. He handed me a communication device. If you change your mind, contact me. From now on, everyone will be looking for you. You need allies. I took the device but said nothing. After he left, Baizé looked at me. You just turned down a good opportunity. I shook my head. If I can't even decide my own path, then what's the point of having all this power? Baizé smiled. Qin Yi, you're becoming more and more like your father. I looked into the distance, but I felt no ease, because I knew the true danger had just begun. Yiming had taken the Dragon Black Seal, and I had gained the Dragon King's blood. From this moment on, everyone hiding in the shadows would fix their eyes on me. I looked down at my hands. Once, I only wanted to survive. Now, I needed to become strong enough that no one could decide my fate. Strong enough to protect those I wanted to protect. Then Yenli spoke suddenly. Qin Yi, there is something I must tell you. What? She paused, her voice low. The Dragon King's blood has given you power, but it has also awakened a sleeping existence. My heart slowly sank. Who? Yenli looked into the darkness. My enemy, the being the entire dragon race once feared most. The next second, a colossal figure appeared in my mind, its eyes colder and more ancient than He Jin's. Yenli said softly, Qin Yi, from now on, the enemy you face may be a true primordial calamity. I clenched my fists and did not flinch, because I had no retreat, and I didn't need one. From the moment I chose Yenli, my life had already taken a different road. 3 days after I left the dragon relic, I felt what it truly meant to be prey. Before, no one would look twice at me in a crowd. Now, every few hours, I sensed someone watching from the shadows, someone searching for me, wanting to use me, or wanting to kill me. Baizé had been right. The moment you gain power, you lose peace. We temporarily hid in an abandoned base that had once belonged to the Guardian Alliance. Abandoned now because of internal betrayal. Baizé sat at a computer, constantly checking intel. I stood beside him, looking at the information on the screen. Yiming, He Jin, and all the unknown forces scattered around the world. Every clue pointed to the same goal: dragon resurrection. Qin Yi. Baizé broke the silence. You must master the Dragon King's blood as soon as possible. I looked at him. How long will that take? He hesitated. Normally, Years. I frowned. Years? Do we have that kind of time? He didn't answer. Because the answer was obvious. No. Yiming wouldn't give me time to grow. Neither would the forces targeting me. I closed my eyes and felt the power within me. The Dragon King's blood had indeed made me stronger. Speed, strength, perception, all had risen to a new level. But I still couldn't control it fully. Every time I used it, I suffered massive depletion and even emotional instability. Yenli told me it was because the Dragon King's bloodline was too powerful. And my body hadn't yet adapted. Is there a way? I asked. Bai Zhe looked at me. Yes. Enter the Dragon Trial Ground. I was surprised. There's such a place? A heritage space left by the dragons. It won't directly enhance your power, but it will teach you control. I nodded. Take me there. Bai Zhe didn't agree right away. He studied me. Qin Yi. Once you enter the trial ground, you won't face an enemy, you will face yourself. I smiled. I faced He Jin and Yiming. Why should I fear myself? Bai Zhe shook his head. Many strong warriors, the final defeat comes from themselves. That night, we entered the Dragon Trial Ground, a space completely different from anywhere else. No sky, no earth, only endless golden light. As I stepped in, a voice rang out. Trial taker, prove your worth. The next second, a figure appeared before me, another me. Same face, same body, even the same aura. I frowned. An illusion? The other me smiled. You think I'm fake? Then what about you? I was taken aback. It continued. You possess dragon power. Yet you've always been afraid of losing control. You say you don't rely on others, but in truth you've always relied on Yanli. I did not argue. Because it was right. From the beginning, every danger had been handled with Yanli's help. Without her, I would already be dead. What are you afraid of? It asked. I fell silent. What was I afraid of? I had thought I feared death. But now I realized I feared something else, that even with power, I still couldn't protect the people I cared about. I feared losing them. Feared watching helplessly as things happened again. The other me suddenly struck. The attack coming instantly, I raised my arm to block. Two forces collided, and I was pushed back. It didn't stop. You want to become strong, but you can't even face your own weaknesses. What makes you think you can command the Dragon King's blood? Every word cut like a knife. But I didn't get angry, because I knew it was true. I had been chasing strength but had overlooked one thing. Strength wasn't about having no fear. It was about acknowledging fear and still moving forward. I slowly stood up, looking at the other me. You're right. I am afraid. I'm afraid of losing. Of failure. Of being unable to protect those I want to protect. But that doesn't mean I will stop. The next moment, I charged forward. This time, I didn't unleash dragon power or call on Yanli. I fought with my own methods. Every strike was my true choice. The battle lasted a long time. I didn't know how much time passed. My body was covered in wounds, but the other me was also starting to crack. Finally, I punched its chest, and it slowly dissolved. Before disappearing, it looked at me and said, you finally understand. Power is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming your true self. The voice faded. The entire trial space began to transform. A pillar of golden light descended, entering my body. This time, there was no pain, only calm. I could feel the Dragon King's blood beginning to truly acknowledge me. My power no longer felt like a rampaging beast. It felt like part of my body. Yanli's voice came. Congratulations. You passed the first stage. I opened my eyes. First stage? She paused. Yes. The true Dragon King inheritance has only just begun. I smiled wryly. Do you dragons always love hiding important things? For once, she didn't retort. She only said, because knowing too soon would place pressure you couldn't bear. I looked at her. Yanli, from now on, don't decide things for me. She was startled. What? Whether danger or secret, let me choose myself. A long silence. Then she replied softly. All right. It was the first time I felt she wasn't the lofty dragon empress, but someone truly standing beside me. Then the trial space shook violently. A crack appeared. Bai Zhe's voice came from outside. Qin Yi, something's wrong. I immediately exited. The moment I appeared, I saw Bai Zhe's grim face. Yiming found the true purpose of the Black Seal. My heart dropped. What did he do? Bai Zhe looked at me and said, he opened the ancient dragon tomb. The air went still. Even Yanli's voice, for the first time, betrayed a hint of panic. Impossible. I turned to her. What's there? She was silent for a long time, then said, a being that once nearly destroyed the dragon race. I clenched my fists. Who? She slowly spoke the name. The first Dragon King, and ultimately the one who became our enemy, Sangming Dragon Emperor. At the mention of Sangming Dragon Emperor, Yanli lost her composure for the first time. Before, no matter Heijin or Yiming, she had remained calm, even when Heijin overpowered me. She only warned me to be careful. But now, just a name silenced her. Who is he? I asked. She didn't answer at once. She stood in my consciousness space, gazing into the far darkness. After a long while, she spoke. Sangming Dragon Emperor was the most powerful dragon to ever exist, and the greatest disaster of the dragon race. I frowned. Why would the strongest dragon become a disaster? She said softly. Because of power. When a being possesses enough strength to reshape the world, the greatest enemy often isn't someone else, it's their own desire. She told me that 10,000 years ago, the dragon race had a glorious era. They stood at the apex of all life, challenged by no race. Sangming Dragon Emperor was the strongest dragon of that age. He possessed all the power dragons dreamed of and even created methods beyond normal dragon bloodline limits. But later, he came to believe that dragons should not hide, they should rule the world. He believed the weak had no right to choose. Yanli said. He said that if the dragons controlled everything, there would be no war. I was silent. That reason sounded reasonable, but that was exactly what made it dangerous. So you stopped him? She nodded. That war lasted a long time. In the end, I sealed him myself. I looked at her. You couldn't kill him? She hesitated. It wasn't that I couldn't, it was that I shouldn't. Why? She didn't answer, only said, you will know later. I felt resigned. Again, whenever a key secret appeared, Yanli chose to hide it. But I didn't press further. I knew she had her reasons. What mattered now was that Yiming had already opened the ancient dragon tomb. He wants to resurrect Sangming Dragon Emperor? I asked. Bai Zhe nodded. According to intel, Yiming hasn't only been seeking dragon power. He wants to use the Sangming Dragon Emperor to establish a new order. I sneered. Another person who wants to change the world. Bai Zhe looked at me. Qin Yi, be careful. Because the most dangerous thing about such people is that they truly believe they are right. I understood. The truly terrifying enemy wasn't one who destroyed for destruction's sake, but one who believed they were saving the world. The next day, we headed for the entrance of the ancient dragon tomb. This time, Shen Hanchuan came too. I was a little surprised to see him. Didn't you say the Alliance has internal issues? Shen Hanchuan nodded. That's why I must come. If the internal corruption is really controlled by Yiming, then this place is the last line of defense. I looked at him. So now you trust me? He glanced at me. Not trust you, trust the facts. And the facts show that you, more than many who hold power, know what you should be doing. This time I didn't argue. I realized Shen Hanchuan, though cold, had a clear goal, protecting humanity. He had just chosen the wrong methods before. After entering the tomb, we encountered the first obstacle. A massive stone door inscribed with ancient dragon script. Bai Zhe studied it for a while, his expression growing more grave. It says, whoever enters the dragon tomb must undergo the Dragon Emperor's judgment. What judgment? I asked. He shook his head. I don't know. Just then, the stone door opened automatically, and a voice came from within. Dragon King bloodline holder. Accept the trial. I stepped inside. The others tried to follow but were blocked by an invisible force. Shen Hanchuan frowned. Only you can enter. I nodded. Wait for me. The stone door closed behind me, leaving me alone in a vast dark space. A colossal form slowly emerged, a black dragon, coiled in the sky. Even as a mere phantom, it made it hard to breathe. Human. Its voice shook the whole space. You possess my bloodline. Yet you are not my kin. By what right do you inherit the Dragon King's power? I stood there and didn't answer, because I knew this was not a problem that words alone could solve. The black dragon continued. Humans are short-lived. Humans are weak. Humans are greedy. Why are you worthy of power? I looked at it and slowly said, because power does not belong to any one race. Sangming Dragon Emperor fell silent. I continued, if only the strong could possess power, then those who have it would only grow more arrogant. What truly matters is not who holds power, but who, after holding it, is still willing to bear responsibility. The space grew quiet. After a long time, Sengming Dragon Emperor suddenly laughed. Interesting. You are not like a dragon, and you are not like an ordinary human, I asked. Then what am I? It looked at me. You are someone who has not yet been changed by power. The next second, a terrifying pressure descended. My body was forced to its knees. My bones creaked, but I did not fall. Stand up, said Sengming Dragon Emperor. If you cannot bear my pressure, you are not worthy to face the future. I gritted my teeth and pushed myself up. Bit by bit, my body trembled. But I did not give up, because I remembered what Yenli had said to me before entering the tomb. Qin Yi. A true dragon king is not the strongest existence, but the one most willing to bear everything. Finally, I stood straight. Sengming Dragon Emperor stared at me, a complex emotion in its eyes. 10,000 years have passed, and finally someone has passed this trial. I asked, do you recognize me now? No, it said. I only acknowledge that you have the potential to become a dragon king. As the words faded, a black old power surged into my body. I felt the Dragon King bloodline within me advance again, but at the same time, an image flashed in my mind, Yiming standing before a massive altar. Before him, a being that had slept for 10,000 years was slowly opening its eyes, and those eyes were exactly the same as Sengming Dragon Emperor's. My eyes snapped open. Impossible, Sengming Dragon Emperor's voice sounded. Now you finally know who your true enemy is. I clenched my fists. So Yiming had opened the dragon tomb not to borrow Sengming Dragon Emperor's power, but to awaken him.